So I just wanted to iterate before we got this video started that there is a bunch of tools that of course I'm not going to cover here. I'm kind of expecting that you have a basic socket set, basic torque set, an inner torque set, some extensions. You're going to need, if you're doing this at home, an engine stand. You're going to need engine crane, a torque angle gauge. You're going to need a bunch of stuff. I do go over this in the rebuild tutorial videos. But this is a good place to get you started, to start thinking about the parts that you need and start shopping around for them. So welcome back, everybody. Today we're going to be going over all the tools and the parts that you need to rebuild your BMW N52. So I was hoping everything would arrive by now. I've ordered like $1,000 worth of stuff. I'll have a complete list of things that you need in the description, and I'll make a video on how much everything cost at the end of it when I'm done. So please hit subscribe if you're interested in that. First thing we want to do is I'm going to start opening all this stuff. I got my trusty steak knife here, and first thing I want to do is actually open up this one. This is a table. I ordered literally the cheapest table on eBay. Oh my goodness, this table is so rickety. That's why it was only 15 bucks shipped. Okay, whatever. All right, let's start diving into these packages. All right, well, we got Lucas Oil assembly lube. Oh, just a little glass metal paper pen. Oh, I got one of these little bendy ratchets. You'll need this to get at the exhaust manifold. Well, you want a little flex ratchet so that you can get at the exhaust manifold bolts. How do I put this back in? Dial bore gauge. All right, cool. So this is what you need in order to measure your piston bores, top to bottom, left to right, top of the bore, bottom of the bore. And I have a micrometer somewhere in here to be able to set this up and make sure that we're not out of spec. So dial bore gauge, super useful in a rebuild project. So I already opened this. This is just for the Valvetronic motor. I'm gonna put all parts over here. Oh yeah, clutch alignment tool. I have a new clutch and flywheel, but didn't have the clutch alignment tool to center the pressure plate, the flywheel, and the clutch in order to put it in. That is super helpful. Okay. Oh, it's my little work light. So I bought a magnetic work light because I needed one. Whoa, super bright. Of course, you need a torque wrench. I prefer a dial, a digital torque wrench, but I don't have one. So I just got a simple torque wrench at the shop nearby. I got a little rubber mallet that has a plastic and rubber side, just so I can bang on things without breaking them. Now, what is this? Oh, I know what that is. We'll open that later. I know what this is. So this is a 82 millimeter dingleberry hone. Some people say that the 3-stone hone tools are better for a backyard mechanic. I feel like the dingleberry hone is a bit better, easier to use, less chance of making a mistake. So I got one of these. Now, people in the comments maybe can tell me, can you actually hone the N52? I'm gonna assume yes, even though it is a magnesium aluminum block. I believe you can hone the cylinders. Can you do them with this? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try it anyway. If I didn't need it, then I'll just return this. What is this? Oh, this is the piston ring compressor. Now, if it's that small, we're gonna have a problem because it shouldn't be that small. It should be able to go to 150 millimeters. Our piston size is about 82 millimeters. And that right there is like really tiny. So, and then that should fit in the bore. Bloop. And then we can put our piston in. So you need a piston ring compressor. Alright, so now we're getting into parts. I need to look up these part numbers to figure out exactly which O-ring is for what, but I know that these are the new O-rings for the cam that go on the cams. They're normally made out of metal, and those damage the heads, so they changed this to a Teflon or rubber ring. These ones, I have to look at the receipt. Yeah. And then these, I'm assuming these are for, I don't know. I have to take a look. Put those there. Victorine's what? Oh, is this the plastic gauge? Is the plastic gauge literally in here? Oh, it is in here. How do I get it out? I guess I just cut a little bit at a time. Alright, so the plastic gauge allows you to measure the piston ring, not the piston ring, the piston bearing clearance between the crankshaft and the piston rod. So you need this to make sure that you have the proper clearance. Oh yeah, I got a feeler gauge. Now the feeler gauge is useful for figuring out, really useful for figuring out your piston ring gap. You'll need one of these. I believe the piston ring gap was like, so that's inches and that's millimeters. I have to look. This is not a boosted engine, so we don't need to run a bigger piston ring gap, but useful to measure. Oh yeah, this is a valve stem seal tool. It allows you to grab the valve stem seals, pull them out, and also push them back in. Really useful to have. This is like 10 bucks on Amazon. Oh, I got brake clean. You could get more in a can online. 500 milliliters, $6 for 3, and I was able to buy like 6 for 8 at the store, so that was good. All right, piston ring compressor, or piston ring pliers, not compressor. Piston ring spreader. This is going to help us to spread the piston rings out when we're putting them on the piston themselves. You can do it by hand if you're really careful. Just I bought it. It was only like $10. Just I'd rather have this than break my piston rings because piston rings are, you know, for one set is $30, so this is $8, and we're gonna do it with 6 pistons. So really useful. Oh, I know what this is. This is my micrometer. So this, in conjunction with the bore gauge, allows you to measure the bores. So you have to use a micrometer to set this up. Sorry, to set up your bore gauge. I believe this is a 70 to 100 millimeter micrometer, and our bores are 80 to 82 millimeters, something like that. I don't remember the exact clearance. So I bought this for like $2 on eBay. It's a really old one, as you can see by the case, but hopefully it still works. More tools. Let's see. All right, red case. I'm gonna assume that this is our valve stem removal tool. When you take the head off, you can grab the, when you take the head off, you can use this to put on either side of the cylinder head, and you use one of these guys. I'm going to assume it's maybe a 23 to press down on the valve, remove the retainer clips, and then release it, and then you can take the valve out, valve stem seal out, do a valve job if you want. And then I think we're gonna go the valve job route, just for the heck of it. We're gonna clean it up and then throw everything back together. So this was like 15 bucks online. I think it was used, looks used, but really cheap tool. I've used the compressing ones before, where you can clamp it and like lock it in place, which is also useful. This is a twist kind, but all in all, it does the job. This may take a bit longer, but for the price, you can't ignore it. Oh, this is just some Dremel stuff for clearancing the piston rings. I have a massive box here. This is the clutch and flywheel. Whoa, it's heavy. Holy moly, that's heavy. This guy sent me a clutch and flywheel. It was pretty much brand new. Here, I'll show you guys. Oh, I bolted it. So anyway, new clutch and flywheel. This is where this guy goes. You're gonna align everything like that in your car, and then you're gonna tighten everything down before you put your transmission on. I'm not sure if there's a shortcut to making one of these, but yeah, this was like 20 bucks. Anyway, clutch, flywheel, and pressure plate. And what I mean when I say it's new, it's used, but it was just put on the car before the guy had a problem with the car and he junked his engine. So yeah, before I open the Big Daddy here, I bought some other stuff. Steel wool pad to clean the head gasket off and prepare the cylinder. I also have this like a 2-in-1 pad for, it's like a Scotch-Brite pad. One is fine and one is coarse. This is just going to be helpful to clean up the head gasket. Yeah, I got some gloves, zip ties for random stuff, the Dremel cutting disc so that I can cut away at the piston rings if I need to re-gap them, and put that up there. And this, I know what this is. I opened it already. This is your timing tools. Super useful. I bought these used. I bought these used on Craigslist or eBay Kleinanzeigen for Germans. And it's going to allow you to lock the cams at top dead center. And then you put in your stopper to prevent the motor from turning. And then you can unlock your Vanos system, take it all apart, and as well put it all back together, of course. So I'm assuming, I don't know which one is for my engine, but just make sure that you buy the right one for your engine. This is for an N52, N51, 2, 3, and 4. It's for all of them. Anyway, you can look at that later. This was like $60 shipped. And now, for the moment you guys have all been waiting for, this is about $500 worth of parts, gaskets, and other things that you'll need to rebuild your engine. I'll explain everything. Oh, so I also bought this valve grinding kit. I'm gonna take a look at the valve, see if I need to do it. Better to have it. This was $11. Better to have it than not to have it. I also have a Dremel, some sandpaper, 320 grit sandpaper, and this really cool Dremel. Anyway, it holds your Dremel to the table so that you can grind away at stuff. So this is really useful to be able to clean the valves. Put something on there on the Dremel to like a little brass brush attachment, and you can clean the valves. I also got this flat piece of metal, flat edge, so that I can check to see if there's any warpage on the head. And of course, a little scraper just had this laying around. I put a new metal tip on there, and just to be able to scrape the head gasket off. And of course some wood. This wood is so that I can refinish the head if I need to, if it looks kind of warped. Put the sandpaper on here and I'll explain all that later. And just some wood for the cylinder head to sit on, something soft when you're working on it. And also just some basic sandwich bags so that you can write everything down, put all your bolts in one spot so you don't lose them. So there is a bunch of stuff that has not arrived yet. Okay, let's put this on the table. And let's open this up. I do recommend buying all your parts from one place. It wasn't possible. I had to buy the parts from 2 or 3 different places. But for example, if I don't need some of these parts, I only have to ship it back to 1 or 2 different suppliers, which is easier rather than trying to figure out, like for example, this came from a different supplier and this stuff came from a different supplier. So going back and figuring out which one came from what is challenging. So let's dig into this. And I'll show you all the parts that you need to be able to rebuild your N52. Or almost all. Whoa, it's all packed in there. So maybe I'll take this all out and then we'll talk about everything. Whew, I was worried there for a second because I ordered 6 of these guys and there was only 5. All right, everybody, so I think I got everything sorted out. I'm missing stuff. I realized that they didn't ship everything that I ordered, and right off the bat I can see there are a few items missing. But let's go through it really quickly. This is everything that almost everything that you're gonna need to rebuild your N52 engine. So pretty much what you can do is you can go online, go to, I forget the website, I'll put it in here and I'll put it down below, but you can go browse for all the parts very specific to your car based on your make, model, and VIN number. And you're going to want to do that because every car has slightly different parts and different part numbers depending on your engine. If you have an N52, if you have an N53, if you have an N54. This is for an N52 2005 BMW E90 VB11 European car. So if you noticed already, this is the valve cover gasket. There's the part number. I'm not associated with any of these brands or products. This is just stuff that I found online. But for example, this this valve cover gasket is different if you have the 2007, 2008 and above E90. It will have a different plastic valve cover gasket. You have the plastic valve cover and I have the magnesium valve cover. So already right off the bat, if you were to say, oh, I think that's the same model as my car, and you go get this is the wrong one. So make sure to carefully order all the stuff that's for your car online. I've created a list that I'll put in the description below. If you find that helpful, again, drop a like. But this is everything that I've found for my car. Right off the bat, again, this is the valve cover gasket. This is the head gasket. There's the part number there. The BMW part number is not on here. What you want to do is take the BMW part number and throw it into whatever website that you're using. This looks to be correct. So when I was doing research on head gaskets, there's a ton of like cheap stuff on eBay. I think for a whole kit, head gasket, we'll get into this, valve stem seals, a bunch of different things. It was like $130. But what you don't realize is that head gasket's maybe only going to last you a year because it's just so poorly made. So I went with a reputable company, not OEM, but I've seen other people have success with these if done right. So hopefully I don't pinch anything, I don't screw anything up, and this works out for me. This was alone like maybe $60, $70 just for the head gasket. Now I recommend maybe you go buy a kit. I couldn't find a good kit, and what I learned watching other people on YouTube is when you do try to buy a kit, sometimes most of the parts, for example, these parts will come right make and model for your car, and then there'll be 1 or 2 things that isn't. So I just went and ordered each individual part, again, from one company, and hopefully this is all the right stuff. So let's get into this. We have our valve cover gasket, our head gasket, and our oil pan gasket. And it's such a pity because I just had my oil pan gasket done about a year and a half ago. I don't think I can reuse it. Maybe I could reuse it if I RTV'd the crap out of it, but might as well better be safe than sorry and just get a new one. I got a new air filter because I've had this car maybe 3 years now, never changed air filter. This was only like 12 bucks. I'm gonna put this away. That's not really needed for rebuild. And let's get into this stuff. Maybe we'll go right to left. Rebuild project. These are Molle piston rings. It's original equipment quality, so it should be the same as the BMW stuff, just under their own brand. These do look to be real. It has a little QR code and a little hologram there. One set, February 19th, 2020. 82 millimeter, so made in Stuttgart, Germany. So I hope that these are the correct ones and real. I mean, I ordered them from a reputable company, so these look good. Suitable for BMW. Okay, I'm just gonna open up this because this was about 25 euros and I didn't know if I needed to buy 6 of them, so I'm just gonna open up one. I assume I had to buy 6 of them because I couldn't get a straight answer from the company. Is that just one? Yeah, 1, 2. Oh, this must be the oil ring. Oh, it says right here. So these two go together. That's the second compression ring, and this is the first compression ring. Okay. So you do need to buy 6 of these. It's quite expensive. It was about $25 each. This is just the cover for the vacuum pump. But does it literally just slot on there? Huh. Okay, maybe I can reuse that. Oh, this is the front main seal. Anyway, front main seal. I'm going to throw a new one on my engine. While you're down there, might as well put a new one on if you're rebuilding your engine entirely. Useful. These are the ventile shaft. This is the valve stem seals. All right, there you go. I mean, I'm confused because... Oh. Okay. The valve stem seals, there's 4 valves per cylinder, right? Yeah, I think. It has this really tough metal outer skin and then a soft rubber insert there. Yeah, right off the bat, can you guys guess what's not here? I already know, I already showed you guys the manifold gaskets, but there's a bunch of other stuff that hasn't yet arrived. Now I'm going to start tearing into the motor to double check everything and start to replace, you know, go all the way down to the piston rings, and I'll show you guys that process. But please put any comments and questions you have in the comment section below. Again, I'm going to try and link all this below in the description. If you think, of course, I am missing stuff. Can you guys guess what that is? Put that down in the comments below too. And thank you very much for watching my video on everything you need to rebuild your N52. Now, again, this isn't a like everything rebuild project. Like I am reusing some parts here, especially like the bolts for the oil pan, the bolts for the valve cover. Like those are brand new because those were just done maybe a year and a half ago. So I'm gonna reuse those. You only torque them to like 8 foot-pounds or 12 foot-pounds or something like that. So I don't think they've stretched that much. So that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I'm gonna go start tearing into my motor now. So Hope this was helpful. Hope you guys can use some of this information and keep following along. I'm going to keep documenting everything that I'm doing in this process to rebuild this N52. Hope this is helpful. Thanks for watching.